Hi, I'm Diana. Welcome to my channel. This is the next in the series of walk and talk videos. I'm on a trail again around by where I live. I'm going to show you the trail I'm going to be walking. Isn't it lovely? There's a lot of trails by where I live, and I make well use of them. This video has been inspired by a evidential mediumship teacher named Charlie Kelly. He has a lot of videos out there on YouTube, and one of them he talks about his extraordinary experiences with spirit, and I thought, what a great topic to do. So I'm going to be talking about that, my experiences with spirit that I felt was extraordinary. And I also invite you to write in the comment section below this video about your experiences with spirit too. In the 1980s, I was sitting with a medium, physical medium named Clifford Bias, and Clifford Bias had a circle every week, and I sat in the circle. And it would be in a darkened room, which is the custom, and the spirits would use his ectoplasm that they use from the medium to create physical manifestation in the room. And so one of the things that I experienced was Devora, a witch, walking around our group with a panther on a chain. She had a tambourine, and she was offering apports to each of us. And so I reached into her tambourine and I took out a moss agate. Other people got different kinds of objects that are physicalized from spirit. Spirit physicalizes these objects in the here and now, on earth. And I heard the chain that was connected to the Black Panther. I imagine it was black. And then I also heard the panther breathing, and it was right by my knee. So it was a little unnerving. Also, Clifford used a trumpet, which is also very customary with physical mediums back then. And the trumpet would circle the ceiling, and we'd hear spirit talk through it, but it would rotate, as they were talking, and it would magnify the spirit's voice. At one point also, a vase was knocked down in the room. So that was kind of cool. So that was Clifford Bias. Now also, a little bit later, I was talking to my higher self, and higher selves are parts of ourself that hold information from incarnations that our soul has had. And an incarnation my soul had was in England. So I was sitting with my higher self one day, and I said, well, now where did we incarnate in England? And so she had me get out a map, and she took my finger and pointed down. She said, Lancaster, England. And she pointed my finger right down on the map on Lancaster, England. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. And a very aha moment for me, because I realized how much spirit could really take form and shape in our earthly plane, which was pretty amazing to me. Now I'm looking at my notes. Now, I had a spiritual teacher who is extremely physical with his spiritual lessons to me. So it formed around money, around attachment to jewelry for me, kind of trying to let that go in my life. So the first experience I had with him was when I lost a gold hoop earring when I was on a walk. And he said, look down on your belly. So I looked down on my belly, and there was the exact outline of the earring I lost on. It was a red ring right on my torso. And he said, I'm going to work with you with your attachment around jewelry. So I never found that earring. That was the first time I realized how much he could impact my life and my physical stuff. Another example was that I was walking on the streets of New York to get to my office, and he said to me, give this homeless person $20. So I did it. And then a little bit later, when I was again walking the streets, give this homeless person $20. So I did. And then a third time, give this homeless person $10. And I said, I don't want to. and so that night, when I got done teaching at my office and I came out to the front door and the sidewalk, I saw on the street folded up bills, a 20, a 20, and a 10, folded up neatly, sitting on the sidewalk, and there was no one around. And Babaji, who was the teacher at the time, said to me, Diana, you see, there's no need to be afraid of spending money because it's a cycle. You give and you get. And it was really a very strong lesson for me. Another lesson was I was visiting my mom in the Midwest, and we all went out to do some sledding. It had snowed, and we went to a park and we were sledding for a little bit. And I'm very attached to this bracelet, okay? And so Babaji used that to again work with me with my attachment to physical objects. So we got done sledding and I took off my gloves and I realized, oh my gosh, I don't have my bracelet on anymore. And so, of course, I freaked out. And then I organized our family to do a grid to search the hill we were just on and to really try and find my bracelet. And we didn't. Nowhere to be found. So I stood on the top of that hill and I started to shift. I started to surrender and to let go of the bracelet. And wouldn't you know, at that point, Babaji said, look down between your feet. And I looked down and there was the bracelet. It was like, wow, wow. That was an amazing experience for me as well. I had a client also who is very psychic, and she passed. And a day or so after she passed, she came into my room. I had a wooden kind of shelving box with a door to it. And she opened and closed the door very clearly and said to me, look what I can do now. And I thought that was kind of interesting. And speaking of doors, I used to rent a space at the Ansonia. It's a pre-war building with a lot of beautiful old apartments in it on the Upper West Side of New York. And I was renting a space from Spiritual Frontiers Fellowship. And there were a lot of energy in that space, spirit energy. And the Ansonia is known for being haunted, quote unquote. And there was a lot of spirit energy there. So anyway, I was teaching a class in their living room, which was kind of the communal area where people come to teach classes. And the group of participants were sitting right in front of me. And then beyond them, past them, was the door to the living room. And as we were doing the channeling class, and this was more than once, the door would open and then it would close. And it was like, wow, look at what Spirit's doing. Another instance that Spirit taught me, and it was a very poignant lesson, was when I was in a session with a client, and this is in the 1990s. I was sitting with a client, and at that time I was struggling with, is channeling real? Is spirit real? Am I making this up? And I know people, when they start to learn channeling from Michael and I, they a lot of times have that feeling, they have that same question. So I had that question, and I was channeling professionally at the time. So I was sitting with a client, and my higher self typically came to those kinds of sessions. I was waiting for my higher self to connect with me, just like normal. I expand my energy field, and then I connect with my higher self. And I waited a few minutes, nothing. That was unusual for me because usually I connect readily. And so waited a little bit more time, and then I started to get uncomfortable. I said to the client, I'm so sorry, I'm not getting the connection. If you don't mind, let's just sit a few more minutes to see if this is going to happen or not. And so a few more minutes went by, and then my higher self came in, and she said, Diana, look, you're not making it up. Do you see? If I don't come, the session doesn't go on. It's not you making it up, it's us making a collaborative effort or collaboration as a team to do this channeling. And that was a very strong experience for me. So I hope you enjoyed these stories. And so remember, spirit is a conscious being. It's real. They are there. You have a spirit team. You can ask them for what you want. All right, everybody. I'll have more walk and talks that I post on my YouTube channel. Please like this video and subscribe. Take care now. Bye-bye.